Hi everyone, and welcome to the All Things ITSM Global Podcast, coming to you from Service Management 2015 in Sydney. I'm Kirsty McGowan. I'm here with co-host Tristan Boot.
Hello.
Ivor McFarlane.
Hello.
And we have the great pleasure of talking to Rob Stroud today.
Hello,
Rob.
everyone. It's good to be here.
So Rob, a couple of things that I think you're talking on at the conference here this week. The one that I'm particularly interested in is the Internet of Things, because I was on the Twitter chat that you did a couple of weeks ago, and it was fascinating. It was, as much as those things, I love them, but there's so many threads going on. So I think we delved into some good stuff there. But it'd be interesting to hear your thoughts on where that's going and sort of some of the challenges in particular for the service management space.
Yeah, so it's really interesting. The Internet of Things is, if you like, the next logical progression in what we're doing. So if you think about, we've got social, mobile, analytics, and now big data. The Internet of Things is the correlation of all that together and everything communicating. And if you think about it, everything we have today is intelligence in it, right? So I use this story all the time. I check into a hotel and they say, would you like internet? And I say, yeah, but I need 10 IP addresses.
Yeah.
Because all my devices connect to each other, right? So, and if you think about that on a broader scale, where your cow is talking to the milking shed, which is talking to the manufacturer, which is talking to the bottling plant, which is talking to the demand from the retailers. And that whole business process is all interconnected. It's not dissimilar to what we've talked about in service management for 11 years I've been coming here. So we've been talking about this end-to-end service, and it's finally happening through the Internet of Things. And the challenges for service managers is very clear. We can't build a service model, it's just technology anymore, because the end user is no longer technology or technology people or our own people. The end user is the customer, or the cow in the case of Betsy,
Exactly.
potentially. So we actually have to think about service management a little bit differently and truly think about what the service is that we're managing, and it actually has a lot of complexity.
Yeah, and I think that Betsy the cow was obviously something that was mentioned a lot on the Twitter chat, and it kind of started, I think, a bit tongue in cheek from somebody. But I remember I was actually in a smart milking shed probably 10 years ago. It was one of the first ones at a research university in New Zealand. And it goes through right from the health of the cow. They've got the well, at that stage it was ear tags. There'll be different tags now, but it comes in, it opens a gate, sends them off to get the thing, and so the actual quality that demands, and you're talking to us, don't want to run cow farmers down, but they're not necessarily going to be the most technically adept people for a start. Or they're coming from a different, and there's a lot of youngsters.
There's a steep learning curve for them.
Yeah, so we've got to make that as easy as possible.
You just, one of the themes of the conference has been user experience, right? And one of the challenges we have is user experience right now, because if we have a technical user or a user we can assume has some technical or domain knowledge, we can assume a higher level of abstraction. And one of the things we've all been caught on is the end user needs, and the app economy has helped us with that. We have to assume the end user can just pick up a device and use it. So the farmer in your case, and I must say New Zealand was at the forefront of developing this type of technology. The farmer itself needs to be able to pick up his or her device, doesn't matter what it is, and effectively interact with the livestock, the supply chain, and it needs to be designed in such a way that it's very simple. And it's one of the challenges for us in service management right now is we can't presume that we can send everybody on a course anymore. Because we can't.
No.
We actually have to make the solution stack totally intuitive. And I think one of the things I like about this conference is you're starting to see a new breed of person start to filter in who look a bit younger than Ivor and I, which would help.
Yeah. So I guess the other sort of side of that is, one of the other thing you're talking about is the cyber resilience, and so is my cow likely to get hacked? But actually, I worked for a telco, and one of the things that we supported was the ankle bracelets for people on home detention and those kind of things. So that's an example there of how these two things link up.
Yeah, I don't want to talk about our ankle bracelets if we can avoid it, but it's.
Sorry, I've got a hit.
You've still got yours on, right?
What the table's for.
Yeah. But if you think about it, one of the challenges with this total connectivity is that there are more entry points to enter into the technology chain and actually ultimately, go there and get information. And I actually like to go back to first principles on why somebody would want to hack the cow, right? Now, why would they? Well, if it's an entry point that allows me to get into the system to ultimately get to where the money is, which is probably with the manufacturer.
The dairy factory,
It's not the farmer,
No.
right? Then that's an entry point that I'm going to be concerned about. And you've got to look at why. So the recent ISACA survey identified that 44% of cyber attacks were caused by cyber criminals. We are actually seeing crime move from, the physical world to the virtual world. And that's interesting. We haven't had to really deal with that in service management very much in the last few years. But it's actually a change, that we've got to deal with, because if you look at that, 8 out of 10 organisations believe they'll be hacked this year. So 8 out of 10 Betsies may get hacked. Well, farmers anyway. But the reality of that, and we'll take the exaggeration out of it, but the reality of it is that if you've got information, intellectual property or money, you're a target right now. And the Internet of Things just opens it up. So we use the analogy, one of the analogies I'll use in the Ignite shortly, is the fact that we've now proven that you can hack a car.
Yes.
Both autonomous and in Australia this week they're doing autonomous car trials for a vehicle to go on sale next year. Right, so where I live in New York, I need one of those so that I can work on the way to work. But if you think about that, why would you hack an autonomous car? Well, I probably wouldn't. But why would I actually go and physically rob a bank when I can actually go in and take $1 billion, which happened in February of this year, by hacking in and understand the systems and rewriting the code. And these are the types of things. So if you think about, and this is one of the opportunities for service management, which is why I bring it up, is what we're starting to see, and the winner of last night's award, the ANZ Bank, right, what their service centre or service desk, whatever you want to call it, which they've got to set up for the cyber world, is actually exactly that, using good practices that we've been teaching in service management for years to actually identify these attacks, escalate, bring the right resources in, do good problem or critical incident management, and then recover, and then use business continuity to deliver the service. And it's interesting, we've been talking about this for forever, and you start to see this whole life cycle put back together. And this is where it all intersects. It's one of the things we need to really be cognizant of.
Now, I'm just going to look at the elephant in the room. Now, you've been with, your name has been synonymous with CA since the last century, Rob, and that's all changing now.
It's funny, it's true too, right? The last century.
1999, I believe you joined up with them.
So my grandson asked me the other day, he said, "Hey, Grandpa, back in the olden days when you were a boy and there were horses and carts," it's more likely Ivor than me, but it's interesting to have a change and it's fun. I must say, was there a long time. The good things were that I got loads of opportunity to be engaged in this industry, and then lately loads of opportunity to get involved in cybersecurity again, which is, for those who don't know, I do for a hobby. But the reality of it is that what's next is interesting. The industry at the moment is at a interesting phase where we are transitioning the way we do service management. This morning's keynote, we are seeing service desks, and we didn't call them IT service desks. Service desks exist within lines of business, and that methodology, that change is happening right now. And it's changing the way we deliver service and the more complexity. So what's next is interesting. Can't say much yet.
No.
More will be revealed shortly, but it's a great time for change.
Yeah, well, good luck with whatever it is, and I'm sure we'll find out and hear the grapevine very soon.
So the rumour that you use your cybersecurity knowledge to hack $1 billion out and you don't need to work again, that's not true?
Not true. Well, I regret that. But yeah, I'd be probably in the Maldives or somewhere like that if I'd done that. So
fair enough.
Not here.
Oh, very good. So What do you? Yeah, I've lost the track. I was waiting for Ivor to come in with some gems
I don't mind
of
insulting bits
information.
Well, good thing somebody can edit.
It's true. We've got Francisco for that.
Well, you know, one of the interesting trends in this industry right now is you know, we've talked about user experience. We've talked about the changing nature of the service desk. I think we really have to understand that Internet of Things, cybersecurity, you know, you've talked about SIAM and things like that, these changing practices. One of the things I believe, one of the pieces of coaching I've been giving is that we've been too focused on process for a long time, and we've talked about this in other podcasts, right? And the transition we have to make is really be business aligned, and we've been talking about that. You know, I remember 2004 or 2005 delivering a presentation on that at every conference that year. We're at that point now where we have to do it. If we don't, we will be irrelevant as an industry. You know, and right now, one of the pushes, and we're not talking much about DevOps, which is something I bought here 4 years ago. But DevOps right now, the real push in DevOps is to move development in control of the whole supply chain, end to end. Now, is it good or bad? I don't know. I'll let you debate that in another podcast. But the reality of it is, you think about it, right? It's we've got to change the way we approach service management, and it's time.
It is time. We actually had a little chat on that with Rob England earlier with his idea of the IT liberation movement and finding out where all the points meet up and finding out what that is. So that's an interesting one to watch too.
Maybe they never meet.
Well, maybe they don't.
Yeah,
possibly.
Well, as always, a pleasure speaking to you. We will be watching with bated breath to see what the news is when you're able to tell everyone where you're going. We'll and I'm sure we will be having a chat again very soon.
I look forward to it. Thank you.
Thanks, Rob.
Thanks.